just outside of Montezuma, which is on the Nicoya Peninsula near the tip, Cabo Blancos, the state park, if you will, is this beautiful retreat. It's called YlangYlang. I think it's named after a tree that has medicinal properties. Any rate, so just off of the beach, the playa off of Playa Montezuma, is this. It's really a gorgeous retreat. I think that this is low season. When we came, we didn't stay here. We just happened to walk on it just to kind of check it out and see what does it look like. I mean, the grounds are absolutely spectacular. They do have some open sleeping accommodations, but they're closed and they're only open during the high season, and I'm sure they're probably cheaper. I mean, you're kind of looking at them. They're really these little cabanas that are hammocked, so it's probably a way for cheaper accommodations. But again, they were closed when we were there, and I think the cost, we looked into it, the cost is about $300 for one of these little casitas. With air conditioning. They're really pretty cute. We didn't go inside, but you're going to get a little shot a little later. This is the reception area, but again, I think it's really a well-maintained. You're living and renting in this beautiful, well-maintained, tropical, lush garden areas. I'm sure the breakfast is probably very good. I think for the price, $300 for a couple to take this nice little cabana, private, tucked into the woods or into the jungle, is a great option, if you will. It's also within very short walking distance. The nice paved path that we're walking on goes right to the beach. There is a free hiking trail, Sendero Sueno verde, which means the green dream, and it's just off of YlangYlang, and then of course there's the beaches, and then there's also the town, which is maybe 6-7 minutes, less than 10 minutes walking to get to downtown and to get additional food or other resources, if you will, or a different restaurant. So it's kind of nicely situated. It seems to be real private, great probably honeymoon spot, or a couple trying to get a bit of a retreat or a break and sort of lush out a little bit. Looks like it's got 1 or 2 pools on site. I think there's also yoga classes and massages and other types of what you might expect at a resort. But again, we didn't stay here, so I'm only including it because it'll give you, if you're considering it, this will give you kind of a nice idea of what it's going to be like and whether this is a spot that you would want to book. I think if we didn't have the kids with us, because we would be required to take 2 of these accommodations, and that would have been about $600 a night, and that was more than I wanted to spend. But at any rate, it's still quite nice to walk on the grounds, and this should give you a pretty solid idea. If you want to go and completely veg out and lush out and get a massage, do some yoga, this would be a very great option. It's also near the Cabo Blanco State Park, which is at the tip of this peninsula, and it's got some great hiking and wildlife, and we did that. Anyway, there you see the sign, YlangYlang, and I think it's something to do with a tree which is called YlangYlang, and so the resort is named after it, and it has some medicinal properties. So you see that the walking trails are very well organized. You don't have to get your feet dirty here until the path leads to the beach, and then yes, you will get your sand on your beach. We did see some kids, so kids apparently are allowed to stay at this resort, and I think once you get to the beach, you're going to notice that there's not a whole lot of people there. So we stayed on the beach for a little while, and during the peak of the day, there were definitely more people, but there's also maybe about a 20-minute hike along the beach, there's this other huge beach. This kind of gives you an idea of what one of these casitas bungalows look like. So that's enough for 2 people or 1 person with air conditioning, and that's what you rent. And they've got them, they're private, they're not connected to another structure, so that they're situated throughout the grounds here, and you get that feeling that you're in the middle of a jungle. And of course here's this path, and it leads right to the beach, and then you're at the water. You can walk along the beach away from town, and I think about maybe 15-20 minutes. Well, you have to take that sendero, which means trail, to Playa Grande. Be careful of the riptides. They're pretty strong in certain areas, and Playa Grande. This is Playa Montezuma. And again, if you continue to walk along the beach away from town, you're going to get to Playa Grande, which is wide open. There's coconuts growing on the beach. Hardly anybody there. Much nicer sand. But I got into some trouble with the undertow and kind of learned my lesson of riptides. So be cautious, and as long as you can touch the ground and you're not going too much further than your waist, you're going to be just fine. So again, the intent of this film is to give you an idea of what this resort would be like, and there you go. Thanks for watching.